Violence in South Sudan continues despite the government's offer of a ceasefire. Uganda's president warned the rebel leader Riek Machar against rejecting the truce, saying several East African nations would unite to defeat him. Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council has held an emergency session to discuss South Sudan's growing humanitarian crisis. CCTV's Nick Harper has the story from UN headquarters in New York.
180,000 and counting. The number of people living in camps who fled their homes grows by the day, as does the number sheltering inside United Nations compounds, now estimated at 75,000.
What you see is the World Food Programme providing some basic food assistance to these people, as they have basically lost their livelihoods, and because of the fear that they seem to have, are not able to go back into the city, into the town, to look for food and other things that they need.
In New York, another emergency session for the Security Council. Its president spoke afterwards, referring to it as a, quote, new crisis meeting.
The situation of the human rights is also pretty worrying. There are reports of torturing, killing, disappearance, and on ethnically targeted violence. 73 international police officers from the UN have now arrived in South Sudan. But an additional 5,500 peacekeepers are still needed for the UN mission in South Sudan, or UNMISS. They could arrive any time in the next 3 weeks. As many are coming from other UN missions, it makes for a difficult balancing act.
It's a matter of very fine judgment between the need to strengthen UNMISS in South Sudan and the need not to risk losing some ground and some advantage that we have been able to gain in neighboring missions.
The UN is asking for more than $200 million to help families over the next 3 months. So far, it's received less than a quarter of that. The UN says at this stage it's impossible to assess the exact number of casualties, but suggests the death toll will be much higher than the estimated 1,000. It says it will investigate all reports of human rights abuses. As the Security Council president put it, it's hoped there'll be some, quote, accountability at the end of this tragedy. Nick Harper, CCTV at the United Nations in New York.